my name's Janelle and welcome back to Rosery Apparel. Today I'm excited to be starting a sewing project that is definitely a bit of an experiment. The forecast for this week is just rainy day after rainy day, and I feel like working on a sewing project that is going to give me the ultimate cozy vibes. So I have this smocked dress idea in my mind that I really want to have a go at making. I have no idea if this dress is going to actually turn out, but I have high hopes and I think it's going to be a really fun, cozy project to work on this week. I have a couple of inspiration images that I'll put on the screen now so you can see the kind of dress I'm hoping to make. The idea for this dress is I want to add some smocking elements to it. They have this kind of shirred paneling section across the bust. It also looks like the rest of the pieces that make up this dress have kind of been attached to this shirred panel piece in order for them to kind of gather up and give the dress an overall really lovely gathered textured look. But instead of sharing this fabric panel, I want to have a go at hand stitching some smocking details to it instead. I also want to add a bit of smocking detail to the long sleeves as well. I'm thinking like a really cute little smocked cuff. The fabric I'm going to be making this dress out of is this gorgeous dark gingham kind of seersucker textured cotton fabric. I picked this fabric up from a little fabric shop in Bruges, Belgium, and as soon as I saw it I kind of already could picture the kind of dress I wanted to make from it. Because of the dark color scheme, I'm really inspired to make a cozy wintry dress from this fabric. I can't remember exactly how many meters I bought. I'm hoping I bought about 4. There might only be 3 meters, but hopefully there's 4 there. It does only look like 3 meters. It's definitely going to be a squeeze to get the style of dress I really want to get out of this fabric. So again, who knows if that's going to work out. I think the priority is definitely going to be to have long sleeves. So if I have to make the dress shorter in order to accomplish that, I'm just gonna have to do it. I should have bought 4 meters. This is definitely all a bit of an experiment and I'm really excited to take you along on the journey. But first things first, I think I'm going to start by working on that smocked bust panel because I think that is going to take the longest amount of time. And once that's made, we should be able to start working on all the other elements of the dress. I'm really excited, so yeah, let's get into it. It's time to get my smocking pleater out of its box. I've not touched this in well over a year. Before I'd moved into this house, basically, it was the last time I used this smocking pleater. Basically, this machine here just makes the whole process of preparing your fabric for smocking 1,000 times easier. I picked this up on Facebook Marketplace and it was such a bargain. I've got a whole tutorial on how to smock fabric, which I'll have linked below, and in that video I cover a few different smocking stitches and also how to prepare your fabric for smocking by hand. And I remember that video just taking me so long to film because of having to hand stitch the pleats into the fabric. I honestly don't fully remember how to use it. It's been such a long time, so I think I'm gonna have a quick little watch of a previous video of mine to remind myself how to go about setting it up. And then we need to figure out how much fabric we need for this bust panel. So apparently for smocking, the rule of thumb is to have 3 to 4 times the amount of fabric needed. So my bust is 82 centimeters, which means I'll need at least 3 times that amount to create the bust panel. The width of this fabric is double my bust measurement. So potentially I'm going to need 2 rectangles of fabric, one for the front and one for the back. But I think what I'll do is I'll actually just test by smocking 1 rectangle first, because I really do want to squeeze as much out of this fabric as possible. If I can make this entire bust panel just out of the 1 rectangle, that would be ideal. I think the length of the panel should be about 25 centimeters once it's finished, but then I'll also need a little bit extra for seam allowance as well. So I think if I cut, let's have a look, 25, let's say, yeah, I'm gonna make the panels 27 centimeters long, which is about 10 3/4 inches. And then yeah, we'll see how much that pleats up. If it's fitting quite well along both the front and the back, I'll just stick to the 1. But if not, I'll have to stitch 2 together. Yeah, this is all an experiment. So I've got my pleated fabric here. It is tiny at the moment, but that's just because I've pulled the threads as tightly as possible so the pleats are as tight as possible, because that just makes it easier when stitching. And I don't know what it is, but I had this issue last time I used the pleating machine, but it's just not created the most perfect pleats in the world. I think it's because I keep using textured fabric. Because the fabric is just ever so slightly textured, it's a little bit uneven, so that means when I pleat it up using the pleating machine, it kind of gives a more rustic pleated look, which isn't a deal breaker because it's still workable, and once it's done and stretched out a bit more, it's not going to look quite as uneven. I do think I'm going to need 2 separate panels, one for the front and one for the back, but I thought I would just stitch up this piece first, because once all of the pleating threads are out, it will become a lot bigger. So now I need to figure out what kind of design I actually want to stitch onto this pleated fabric. This is kind of the fun part, and the part I'm really looking forward to starting this afternoon. I think it's gonna be really cozy to just listen to a podcast or put a movie on and just do a bit of stitching. It's about to start raining and I'm in my element right now. I actually have this big box that I picked up from the same woman I purchased the pleater machine from, and it is filled with different smocking books and patterns and things. I've also got my embroidery thread collection. I've got a heap of other colors if I can't find the right colors in here, but this is the thread I take with me when I go traveling and to stitch up my cross stitch a day travel diaries. But yeah, this pretty much has every single color I could possibly ever want, so I should be able to find the colors I need in here. And I'm wanting to go quite a bold, bright design because I think that will just stand out so nicely on this dark fabric. So yeah, let's go through the books, pick a design, then we can pick the colors. This is the fun part, honestly. Been working away on the design and I finally have come up with something that's going to work. Basically, I want to be able to repeat the design 3 times on this panel because I just think that is going to look best, and I want it to look even along the panel as well. I've picked my colors and I'm really happy with them. I love how bright and happy they are in contrast to the really dark, moody gingham fabric. It's been really helpful to do this to get an idea of what the actual design is going to look like. So basically, the design is going to cover 8 of these gingham lines, which means I'll be able to squeeze 3 repeats into this panel. I was kind of inspired by this design here. I love these cute little flower details and then also the chevron zigzag look with the plain straight smocking stitch. I just think the combination of those 3 just creates a really nice defined design, I guess. This is definitely going to take quite some time. I'm not expecting to get all of that stitched today. Might not even get it all stitched this week, but I'm excited to make a start on it now, and it will just take as long as it needs to take. It's gonna be one of these projects that I'm just gonna have on the go, and it's gonna be the sort of project I'll just work on of an evening while I'm watching telly, just stitch away as much as I can whenever I can. But I'm really excited to see how this design looks on the fabric, so yeah. So after a solid 3 hours of stitching, this is all I've got to show for it. It's definitely going to take a lot longer than I was anticipating, but I am thoroughly enjoying the process and I think it looks so cute as well. I love the color combination. So yeah, I'm just gonna slowly stitch away and slowly work on this over the next few days and over the weekend, and I will check in with you next week for a bit of a progress report. It has officially been a week since I started this smocking project, and I am currently about halfway through the first bodice panel. I knew it was going to take a long time, but it's definitely taking even longer than I was expecting. The design is quite detailed, so you know, to do just one row of stitching takes me at least 1 hour. I am hopeful that I might get away with just doing one panel for the bodice. Even though I don't mind if this project takes a while to do, I still don't want to be working on it forever because I want to wear this during winter. I love the colours though. I just love the bright colours against the dark fabric. I just think it's going to add such an interesting detail to this dress. Okay, so it is quite a few weeks later now. This smocking design has definitely taken a lot longer than I was anticipating, but it is finished at last. I am so proud of this piece of fabric. It has, yeah, like I said, just taken me so much longer than I was anticipating. It has been a joy to stitch up though. Like, there is just something so meditative about smocking. It's just really simple and like mindless, but it's just such a great way to fill in any little pocket of time you might have. I totally recommend it. So now that the smocking of this rectangle of fabric is finally complete, I can actually pull out the basting stitches that hold all the pleats in place. I'm a bit nervous about this part, I'm not gonna lie, because obviously there's a lot of stitching into this piece. So I'm scared I've actually like caught the basting stitch in parts and it won't come undone easily. But yeah, that is what I'm gonna get up to this morning, and I'm really excited to see how much this fabric stretches once the basting stitches have been removed, because I'm hoping I'm gonna be able to get it wrapped around my entire bust. To make up the rest of this dress, I'm actually going to be using my pansy sewing pattern. This is my beloved favorite everyday dress pattern. I use it for so many of my dressmaking projects. So I'm going to use the sleeves as they are. The pansy sleeves are quite gathered, so there's a lot of fabric there, which I think will be perfect to be able to do those smocked cuffs. And as you're watching this video, I'm actually having my biggest sale of the year. So if you did want to get your hands on the pansy pattern or any of my other patterns, now is the time to do it. I have 33% off store-wide to celebrate my 33rd birthday. This is something I do every single year, and I have been doing since I first started Rosery Apparel back when I was turning 24, and it wasn't quite so embarrassing to share my age online, but it will only be up for a few days. So yeah, sorry if you miss out, but if you're quick, lucky for you. But yeah, I'm gonna cut out my pansy pattern now and then cut the sleeves from my fabric and then pleat them up so I can start smocking the sleeves. so I just cut out the pansy pattern pieces, and I actually decided to shorten the bodice front and back template pieces because the idea is this is just going to like give the dress a bit of shape. So the top of the dress is going to have this almost as a yoke, and then this will be attached to it. And I'm going to attach it by stretching out this edge of the smocking, which should hopefully gather up this little top piece ever so slightly as well, which will, I think, look really cute. I've also cut out another rectangle of fabric for the back smocking piece. I am kind of, yeah, a bit devastated. I was hoping that after taking out the pleating stitches that this would stretch enough to like go right around my bust. It does not. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna have it along the front of the bust. And I'm in two minds about whether or not I wanna smock a whole nother panel and just wear this dress next winter. The alternative is that I just use shirring elastic and shirr a back panel. It will still have the same look and the same stretch. It just sadly won't have the beautiful smocked details. Like in an ideal situation, I think I would smock the back as well. I just think it's going to look maybe a little bit unfinished without having smocking at the back. But at the same time, it's a lot of work and I'm not even going to be able to see it. Yeah, the only thing I'm concerned about is that it might look unfinished, which would be devastating for the amount of work I've already put into this dress. I think I'm going to work on the sleeves and do the smocking along the cuff and think about it for the next few days. What would you do? Actually, don't tell me because I will have already made a decision and I'll probably end up just sharing the back and I'll be devastated if you think I should have smocked it, because I think deep down that is what I would do if it didn't take so long. But yeah, let's just work on the sleeves. We'll think about that another day. Okay, it is a week or so later and now finally all of the smocked elements of this dress are complete. I've been having a bit of a think about it over the last few days and I think I am going to go with the shirred panel at the back. This rectangle does stretch over halfway, like it goes around the sides a bit as well. So I think if I just have a little shirred panel at the back, that would look pretty good, I think. So I have the rest of the dress cut out and today I really would like to start piecing it together. In particular, I would love to get the bodice finished today so I can at least try it on, see how it's looking, see how that shirred little panel at the back looks and if it looks unfinished or not. If it does look unfinished, I'm pretty sure I'm just going to commit and smock the panel instead, but I think it will look fine. But yeah, first things first, I'm going to share up this panel of fabric. This will take me a little while, so yeah, let's do a little time lapse of me sharing this up. Now I'm up to quite possibly the trickiest part of this whole project. I need to figure out how to actually construct this dress. Here's the cuff of the sleeves, by the way. They turned out so great. I just did one section of the pattern, which has just created the perfect little cuff and will hopefully have a nice little frill at the bottom of it as well. So I need to obviously attach this part to the front of the dress, which I think is where I'm gonna have to start. I was actually thinking of maybe hemming the raw edge of this smocked panel so that the ruffle of it is kind of exposed on the outside, and then the front piece can get stitched in behind. Does that make sense? This piece will be like this, and then this rectangle will actually, once it's been hemmed along the top here, will actually have the ruffle exposed. I think that would look really cool. I'm just in two minds as to whether I need to attach the shirred panel I've just made to this piece before I hem the top edge. Okay, I've just pinned the two pieces together just to see how it looks, and I actually think it doesn't look too bad at all having the seam at the side. Like, I think it looks pretty intentional, and I've pinned it in a way so there's a lot of extra fabric. Like, they both need to be shortened slightly so it cinches in enough. At first I was thinking of making this smocked part go as far back as possible, but I think that would look more unfinished, honestly. And then stitch the front and back pieces together, and then hem this smocked piece and then stitch it to these two pieces. I think that's going to work. Just finished off the neck edge and the keyhole detail at the back, and now I actually think I'm going to attach the sleeves before stitching the sides together, just because it's easier to attach the sleeves to the armhole when it's this shape. So yeah, I'm gonna attach the sleeves and then sew the sides together, and then once the sides are sewn together I'll actually attach the smocked panel, and I'll kind of stretch it as I sew the two pieces together, so as they get attached this top piece should gather up really nicely. Okay, the bodice is complete and it is looking so cute. I love the sleeve so much. The cuff is honestly, it's turned out so adorable. It just looks so cute with that little frill at the end. I don't know, it's turned out even better than I was expecting. So I've attached the smocked panel to the rest of the bodice and I think it looks great. I actually don't mind the plain shirring at the back. I think it looks intentional, not unfinished at all. So I was just gonna do the bodice today because I wasn't sure how long it was going to take, but it only ended up taking a little over 2 hours to do. So I've still got a bit of time today to, you know, potentially finish this dress. So I'm gonna get started on the skirt now. I've cut 2 rectangles of fabric that I need to gather up so that it will fit along this waistline. The skirt pieces are still quite long, which I'm happy about. They're about 88 centimeters long, which means this dress will still have a quite long skirt. I'm gonna try and make all the seams as small as possible so I can keep as much length in the skirt as possible, because I like my dresses to be more on the longer side at the moment. I also managed to squeeze in some pockets out of the leftover fabric. Okay, I have just tried the dress on and I am shocked at how gorgeous it has turned out. Sewing the skirt in, I was a bit concerned that it was going to be too full in the gathering, but it has turned out exactly how I wanted it to. Let me put some shots of me wearing it in now so you can get a good proper look at this beautiful, beautiful dress. There were so many times throughout the making process of this dress where I thought, A, I wouldn't finish the dress. It was just taking so long and I thought I was going to give up. But B, I was a bit worried that the finished dress wouldn't match what my original vision of the dress was going to be, but I could not be happier with how this dress turned out. Like, it is my classic pansy dress style, but just a little bit elevated, I think. I love the kind of like gothic moodiness this dress has. It's very different to any other dress I've got in my wardrobe, and it almost gives me fairy tale vibes, like peasant dress, fairy tale vibes. I don't know. I love it. The smocking detail is obviously such a beautiful detail to this dress, and it was definitely well worth all the effort in the end. It's exactly what I was hoping it would be. Actually, let me get the original drawing so we can compare. Yeah, here is the original drawing I drew like over a month ago, and here is the finished dress. It's exactly the same. Like, I'm so chuffed with that. It has been so fun to document the journey of making this dress, from coming up with the original concept and designing the smocking and then figuring out how to actually bring this dress to life. I hope you found it interesting to watch, and I also hope this video inspires you to give smocking a go. It is such a beautiful craft. Every time I make a smocked item, I'm always overwhelmed by how long the process is, but it always is 100% worth it, and it really is just such a beautiful way to add such gorgeous details to a garment. If you enjoyed this video, it would really mean a lot to me if you could give it a like, and yeah, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my channel for more sewing type videos just like this one. Thank you so much for watching this video until the very end, and I'll see you in the next one.